Hey friends, welcome back to Bible Fun with the Duns. We're a smidge late today, but we're enjoying our Labor Day weekend. Today we read Job chapter 22, and we hear from the friends for a third time, just what we needed. So today we hear from Eliphaz, and in these first 4 verses, he's talking about God, and then after that, he has a long list accusing Job of sin. And I feel like he just starts making up a bunch of things, making up a list to accuse him of. And so it kind of cracked me up. Those first 4 verses, though, in this chapter really caught my eye because Eliphaz starts talking about God and he says a bunch of things about God. And as he's going on, I'm like, because it catches my mind. I don't think those things are correct, what he's saying. Like in verse 3, he says, "Is it any pleasure to the Almighty if you are in the right? Or is it gain to him if you make your ways blameless?" Well, actually, it is a pleasure to him. The Bible tells us in Psalm 37, 23, "The steps of man are established by the Lord when he delights in his way." The Lord does delight in us. He does like it when we follow him and try to live for him. Eliphaz continues to describe God, and he describes God as being so great and so big that why would he even care about the little details of our lives? Why would he be concerned about humans' lives? Surely God doesn't care to know us intimately. And that's where I totally disagree. I don't think this idea of God being so great and so big and God making himself small enough to know us intimately and deeply, I don't think those things can't exist in the same time. God is big enough. Those are not mutually exclusive. And so I dug through scripture real quick and just found a ton of scriptures that remind us that God does know us intimately. He does want to know about the details of our lives, and it matters to him. He does care. And so I'm just going to share a few. There are so many. In Jeremiah 1:5, it says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you." Psalm 139, I thought this was interesting because it's another famous struggler in scripture. It's David. And he describes who God is to him. He says in verses 1 and 2, "You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit down and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar." In verse 4 of that chapter, it says, "Before a word was on my tongue, Lord, you know it completely." Verse 13, "You created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb." And 16, "Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." It got me thinking, when we struggle, we try to make sense of our circumstances. When big things in our lives change, a lot of times we can be guilty of trying to think our God has changed, or we start thinking things about him that are incorrect. And we think maybe who he is, we get those things wrong. And so this chapter reminds me of the importance of letting God's word and letting God's character define who he is to me, and not letting my feelings or my circumstances that are constantly changing, right?
Yeah.
Constantly changing. Don't let that define who God is. I can see you right there. Okay.
All right. So in this chapter, Eliphaz, he's not holding back in what he essentially thinks of Job. Warren Wiersbe said, "What should have been an encouraging and comforting visit among friends has become an angry and a painful debate." And so what you're going to see, or what you did see, is from chapter or verse 6 down, basically Eliphaz has some really strong and really specific accusations against Job, and we don't know where he got them. So we don't know if he is making this up. We don't know if he's heard rumors. We don't know if people are just kind of nitpicking behind the scenes, or they're assuming too much. We don't know.
His own jealousy.
Or his own jealousy. It's kind of like taking a handful of stuff and just throwing it against the wall to just seeing what sticks. Eliphaz throws out everything he's got in the arsenal to see what Job has done. The problem is, in chapter 1, we're told that none of this stuff is going to be legitimate. Why? Because Job was upright and blameless in all of his ways before the Lord, and that upright and blamelessness is what kind of brought about this whole story, where the Lord is really proud of the way Job is living his life. So what we can figure out here is, no matter what Eliphaz is saying, it's not true. By the way, just recognize this. Just because somebody says something doesn't mean it's true. Just because somebody has an opinion doesn't mean it's not true. Or doesn't mean it's true. I also heard this one time. They said, never take advice from somebody that you wouldn't also take criticism from. Never take criticism from somebody that you wouldn't also take advice from. Because that means that their words really don't matter to you. Now, here's what's interesting to me is Eliphaz got this wrong with Job, but he may have not gotten it totally wrong. Now, you think about it like this. Sometimes you can have a little bit of truth, you can use it in the wrong way. You can have something that's supposed to be helpful, but it can be dangerous. For instance, if we went to the hospital today and I got a little scalpel, I found a little scalpel in a surgery ward, and I gave it to an infant. I mean, like, that's dangerous. Those things are sharp. I mean, there's no telling what could happen. Look, if we gave Jeb that, yeah, not Job, Jeb. If we gave Jeb that, he would ninja that whole place down. But if we put that same scalpel in the hand of a trained surgeon, now we're fixing things. So that truth can be like that. When wielded wildly, it can be hurtful. But under the right set of circumstances, it can be good. For instance, when you start looking at what Eliphaz said to Job, like in verse 6, he says, you've taken pledges from your brother with no reason. He in verse 7 says, you've not given you've not given the weary water to drink. Verse number 9 says, you've sent widows away empty. Okay, so we don't know where he's getting any of that. But we do know he was wrong about Job, because God said that Job was right. But what if Eliphaz is right about us? So in the New Testament, the book of James, chapter 1, verse 27 says this. It says, pure and undefiled religion before God and the Father is this, to visit orphans and widows in their trouble and to keep oneself unspotted from the world. So again, these things can happen. They weren't happening in Job's life, but I wonder if they're happening in ours. Let me say, listen, if Eliphaz were talking to you today, would he be right? Are you nice and kind and gentle and helpful and hospitable and caring? Or are you self-centered or selfish or grumpy, angry, mean, rude? How have you come across today to people? And how will you come across to people for the rest of the day? Listen, there's a little bit of truth in the possibility of all these things, but there's a great deal of judgment in them as well, because Eliphaz is assuming some things about Job. Here's one of my favorite ways it was put. Warren Wiersbe said this. He said, Eliphaz's theology centered on a distant God who was far away and who was judge of the world, but didn't know that God was a friend of sinners. God is a friend of sinners. That's why we have Jesus. Jesus, the friend of sinners who came into the world, who helped people like us who haven't been perfect and have done the things that Eliphaz is talking about. Jesus came to redeem us and forgive us of our sins. So when we read this, listen, this is like eating a chicken leg, okay? You take off the meat of what he's saying and you throw out the bones, okay? And so find the truth, live the truth, but also understand he didn't know everything. All right? Well, keep reading. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.